going on, guys? Dan Watson, learningcameras.com, and here I've got the Varavon Armor 2 Series cage for the NX1. Now you can also get this, I believe, for the GH4, A7S, 5D Mark III, probably some others in the future too. But I'm going to kind of show you the configuration of this. It might differ a little bit depending on what version you have, with how many ports they can allow, how many screws you can allow, things like that. But overall, the build quality and everything like that we'll go over. Also, just kind of prefaces, your accessories are going to differ to mine, the types of mics you use, anything like that. I have a longer shotgun mic. I can kind of show you some of the configuration options that I have to do to make do with some different accessories, and you can kind of make your decision from there. But let's take a look at the Varavon Armor 2. And I will say the case comes very, very nice, nicely padded. The whole build quality of everything is very, very well done. Nice metal, everything's high grade. I like how you can control, you basically have thumb screws for almost everything on there. And one of the nicest features is that you do get your Allen key that does mount right in the side, and it's magnetic. So it stays there until you want it. And you can use this to tighten everything up just a little bit more than you're able to get it with the thumb tightening. And this is great. One thing to keep in mind is this is in the handle. So this is a removable handle. And if you do take this off, and like I said, I just tightened it with this, so it's hard to get off by hand. So keep that in mind. If you do remove this handle, which is very easy to remove, you lose your Allen key because it's on there. So you're not going to have that ability anymore. You can rotate this backwards as well, or possibly move it into another location. So that's something to consider. If you wanted to move it, you could move it over here, let's say, and then have everything mounted offside and still have this. So you do have some room for putting in other places and keeping things organized the way that you like. You are going to have to move things around, I will say that. The way this thing is done, the way it comes pre-configured, it really doesn't suit a lot of shooting styles. It definitely didn't suit mine very well. The way this is with this in the middle, it comes with a cold shoe right up front here. I do think it's a little far in front of the camera for that. I would have liked it a bit further back. And while you can take this off, you can't exactly put it on anywhere else in here because these are 1/4-20 screws down. So you'd have to get some kind of adapter, which it doesn't come with, that would give you a 1/4-20 and then also give you a 1/4-20 up to be able to mount something like this into these spots right here. Also, this is the only cold shoe that it does come with built into it. So if you want another one like this, you're going to have to buy it. Now, that said, it does have one kind of built into the cage right here, and you can kind of see it here. So if you wanted to use that, you could mount your microphone right in there and leave you options of moving this elsewhere. So you do have some freedom. It does come with that cold shoe. Nothing else though. So you're going to have to buy them. And they do sell them. They didn't have them on B&H, which is where you can pick up these Varavon Armor Cages. So you would have to go through the company's website to buy that. I asked them to put it on B&H, so hopefully they will do that because they're only $10 on their website and they're very, very good quality. And they do have the ability to use your Allen wrench, which is awesome. So let's take a look at some of the other features on the way around. We do get a nice padded handle here, and I really like it. If you do want to shoot handheld, it works very well. I can pull this up handheld right here, and now I'm going. Now, one of the other options you do have is this right here, and basically this arm can mount right into here into this slot. You can screw this in. It's articulating around, so you can move it into whatever position you would like. And this works really well if you're going to shoot handheld because you can pull this right into your shoulder and go handheld very, very easily. And I can be very secure on here and get a pretty nice shot. So that is a nice feature to have. If you do want to mount something to this arm, you can, because like I said, you can move it around. You could put it towards the front and mount your follow focus and everything else to this arm too. And so that is an option. You can't do both at the same time, but if you want to use a follow focus with this, you can do that. Have it go out to the front and mount it to that. This lens works very well with follow focus, so it's nice. Now, one thing I like, especially with the NX1, is that this cage allows the NX1 to be a little higher off of the tripod, because anyone who's used this knows that your NX1 S series lenses, at least, are a little big for the body, and they do hit your tripod mounts if you try to focus or zoom with them. So that is an issue that I have with the NX1 lenses, that they're bigger than the body, and the cage kind of works that out for me. Now, if you do just need somewhere to put this, you can always mount it right into the middle here, and you can use that arm for something else. If you can find something to put it in there, it will fit in the front or the back, and you can tighten it down with the Allen key there. No thumb screw for that one. It also does come with your jack mounts on the side. You can access all of the jacks, HDMI, mic, headphone, everything like that, without a problem on the side of this thing. It's pretty easy. And it does have this little clip right here, which you can use to tie in your cables. So if you want to keep those nice and tight, you can do that. However, you know, it almost completely blocks your cold shoe mount here. I don't know what you put in there that doesn't block this. So it's one of those things you probably can't use them both at the same time. A lot of things like that you can't do at the same time, but you can do them separately. Now, the other thing I will say is if you're using a mic like this Rode mic, getting this in there is pretty much impossible. And with this so far up extended, that's kind of an issue too. So you will need something like this to extend it out. And that kind of has a straight adapter in it, and that works very well for getting your mic and headphone outputs on that, unless you have a straight connector on there, which the Rode video mic does not. Now, another thing I will say about this is that you're definitely going to want to pick up some accessories for this. The way that it comes with just the one cold shoe here and the one cold shoe here, and you can't configure these at all. You can move this around, I guess, but then you lose the one up here, is really a bit minimal. So if you're going to want something like this mounted to the other side, keep it open, you're definitely going to want to pick up something like that. If you're going to want to tie into any of these, you would want something to be able, some kind of adapter to be able to use it there. You know, also, I do have the Tascam DR60. It works really well upside down on these slots. So maybe there's something to be able to mount these right side up. That'd be great. But if you don't mind using it upside down, man, this is perfect for it. Now, also, if you have something like this, it does have a 1/4-20, but like I said, you don't have any ability on this to go straight to a cold shoe, so you're going to need adapters like this to go from the 1/4-20 mount, the tripod mount in here, to your cold shoe, and then you can mount that way. So those are kind of things that you're going to need to buy to make it work for you. You do have nice access to your screen. It's pretty easy to pull this thing out. You still have all the articulation off of it. You do have, like I said, access to all of your vital controls. It's not too bad to get to anything like that. There is a little bit of play on the top handle here, and you know, the only way to get rid of that is to really, really tighten this thing down. But once again, I've had it come loose on me a couple times, and you do have this handy, but that handle just has a little too much play. It should be a little bit more exact to that cold shoe, I think, since they are designing both of these parts together. I'd like to see that a little bit tighter, and maybe it will be in yours. Maybe they can tighten up those tolerances on that. So overall, it is a great cage. I'm not going to discount that. As is, the way that it comes, it could use some improvement, both in being able to move some accessory ports around, having an additional cold shoe, things like that. You could take the grip off and use some of these ports on the side, which would be nice. You're going to be a little bit limited, though, on how you open the SD card slot. So, you know, the way it's done, it's all a bunch of kind of playing games with the limitations of where you want to put things. And sure, I can put stuff here, but then I'm going to block this, and then I'm going to block my cable mounts here. Sure, I can put things on the front here, but now I'm coming out a little too far. If I turn this thing around, now this thing's a little too far back in my head. So it's just kind of playing with those games and getting it right. If you don't mind doing that, if you see this and see the spots that you can mount this kind of stuff, or you're going to be going off of arms, anything like that, then it's not a bad option for you at all. And like I said, you do have the ability to use some of these, so especially if you find a good way of mounting onto these 1/4-20s, that would be nice. So you could get something like this and not have to put it upside down, but get a nice mount for this there too. That'll help you because your ports will be on the right side that you need them for that. So if you can find some mounts for that, that'll be good. Like I said, they don't include anything for that, but you do have your cable ties and everything like that. You can take this off completely, and I did tighten this around too, so keep that in mind that you don't want to lose this thing, because if you use it, you're going to be tightening these things up beyond hand tightening. I'm kind of curious if I can put this, there we go. And so you can put this down here, and you can use, it has 2 screws here, so you can use the back one and kind of lock it in there, keep it out of the way, and then keep your mounts up here for something a little bit smaller if you want to. And if you remove this completely and want to keep these 2 going, you could possibly move this over here, and get things going. So it's, like I said, it's not bad at all. It's very well made. It fits the NX1 extremely well. A little tricky to get in, but once you get it in there, it's nice and tight. On the bottom of this thing, you also have a bunch of places to mount things to. If you mount the tripod right to the center, it's kind of nice and kind of not. It will block pretty much every port here, except all the way over here, and then you start blocking your battery door. Is gonna basically have too much room for this plate and to still have access to that screw. However, if you do go right in the center, you do still have access with an Allen key right in between there to tighten up your camera if it gets loose. You can't really pull it out, I don't think. You won't be able to pull it off of the cage without taking off your tripod adapter first. However, you can tighten it up if you need to. So, it's a pretty nice system on that. You can pick them up at B&H now. Take a look at some of the other ones for the 5D Mark III, A7S, GH4, things like that. And if you can find some good adapters for this top port especially, you're going to be really, really doing well. And actually, one other thing I forgot to point out, you do have the ability to mount this here. And so that could be, basically you need the screw, the Allen key to loosen this up. Hard to see in there. But yeah, you can loosen this up. You can put this in here too, and this might be a good spot to mount a screen or something as well using this. So definitely some options, definitely places to go. The more I play around with it, the more areas I find that I can use stuff in. I have to go find adapters to make this kind of stuff work, but if you don't mind doing that, you can really find a good amount of stuff to play with. It's not badly priced at all, especially for the build quality and what you get on it. So definitely recommend them. They're a good company. They have tons of awesome reviews on these things. They've been doing it for a while. Tons of different camera options on that. So good way to go. B&H, I got the link in the description. Also, you can check it out on the website, www.learningcameras.com. And we'll have some more stuff coming up, so stay tuned for that.